Hidden Figures is a film directed by Theodore Melfi and also co-written by Theodore Melfi. We got some pretty heavy hitters coming out to the ball game this time, people. We got Taraji P. Henson, Octavia Spencer, Janelle Monáe, Kevin Costner, Kirsten Dunst. Side note, when's the last time we saw Kirsten Dunst in a good movie? Hold on. Yeah, it's been that long. This movie follows the story of the space missions of NASA in the 1960s, but instead of telling the story that we all know, this movie tells the story that we didn't know. It tells the story of the pioneers behind the scenes, beneath the curtains, working to make these space missions possible. The crux of the story is about Katherine Johnson. She is played by Taraji P. Henson, brilliantly, I might add. She is like the biggest Jimmy Neutron mathematician freak genius that NASA had ever seen at that point. Seriously, she's Invader Zim brilliant. She gets a chance to start calculating calculations and start figuring out projections and, landing spots and stuff like that for the space mission, because they're trying so hard to get a man into space. To get a man to go where no man has gone before. I hate to name drop Star Trek, but I think at this point in history it's pretty apropos, because these women, these African American women, did something that no African American women had done before, or they had gone to places that African American women hadn't gone before. It's a good thing we start off the year with a good one. Let's get it. I am not a math guy. That's the first thing I'll say off the bat. I'm not into math. 2 plus 2 and QQ Kachu is pretty much as far as I go in terms of math. And yet, the way they talked about math in this movie was so fascinating, and really that is driven because of the excellent performances that this movie has. Octavia Spencer is great. She plays the head of this African Americans women's group, a bunch of data analysts working for NASA. She's terrific. She faces some struggles and pitfalls, and that's what I like about the way this movie presented this thing. These women didn't just have to deal with the fact that they were African American. They had to deal with the fact that they were women living in a time where it was pretty much still a male-dominated world. It was not the most progressive or enlightened period in our history, I'll just say that, and we see all of these women struggle with that in this movie. Janelle Monáe, she plays someone who wants to be an engineer for NASA. Some people, like her husband, are telling her, hey, well, come on, you shouldn't be dreaming to be an engineer. There's no way you could be an engineer. You're a black woman. It's just not meant for you. But I like how this movie, again, reinforces the idea that it doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man, and it doesn't matter if you're black or anything else. You can do what you want to do, and you can accomplish whatever you want to set out to accomplish. Star of the movie, hands down, is Taraji P. Henson. She was excellent in this movie. I mean, Taraji P. Henson's a great actress, and I'm a huge fan of Taraji P. Henson, and she dominates every other form of media I've seen her in. But in this movie, she was terrific. She was great. She gave me the chills. You guys know what the chills are, right? That's when an actor or actress is acting their ass off and they do such a great job that it literally gives you chills everywhere on your body. I'm not talking about your garden variety, ooh, there's somebody behind me chills. I'm talking about hair rising on my arms and the back of my neck, ice cube down your butt crack chills. She deals with the same struggles that every other African American woman deals with, but also she's pretty much the one driving the focus of the story, because she's this really insanely smart mathematician and she has to figure out all of this extra shit for NASA in the likelihood that she's not going to get the credit for it, or she's not going to get acceptance. And that's really what this movie was about, the struggle between tolerance and getting the job done. Kevin Costner was also great in this movie. He's a guy that really is all about focus. He's all about the task at hand. He really wants to get a guy into space. And so he doesn't really get caught up in the whole race relations thing because it's not really his focus. We do see a couple scenes in here of him, and we get to see a little bit of how he feels about the whole segregation and racism thing, because that was still a big thing in the 60s. But overall, he's really like, I don't care what color you are. Can you calculate? Then yeah, you're on the team. Sure. This is a story that I didn't know about and a story that we needed to tell. This is a very well told story too. There's a lot of heartwarming moments. There's a lot of funny moments too. I mean, this is a well balanced script. It has a lot of drama, humor, heart, all of that mixed into one. Ultimately, this is a movie that hit most, if not all, of the marks that it was going for. January of any year is really a dumpster fire for crap, but if there's anything, this movie gets 2017 started off in a very good direction, because I really enjoyed this thing. Biggest issue I had is that sometimes, because the movie had to take breaks and it had to not focus on the math stuff, it had to focus on the romance aspect and the personal lives of the women. On some level, I get it. I mean, you have to show these women having personal lives. You have to get behind the scenes and show how they lived while they were doing all this. And some of that I was okay with, but there's some of it that just made the movie drag a little bit longer and feel a little bit longer than maybe it was. In particular, there is a romance that just, I felt like the movie ground to a halt every single time they focused on this romance. The more interesting stuff is the stuff going on at NASA with the calculations and with the tests and everything like that. Everything else outside of that just fails to measure up in terms of generating interest. That being said, Hidden Figures is a gem to start off 2017. I will say that Hidden Figures gets a very, 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 very high Man of Steel rating to start out the year. Alright guys, Hidden Figures, let me know if you're going to go see that this weekend. Comment, like, share, and subscribe, and as always, if you like what you see, tell me how you feel, and stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace.